Hi, welcome back. So this is part 2 of a video I did, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago. I'll link it up here for you to watch. Basically, some of my succulents got wet. They were sitting on my top shelf in my greenhouse and I had a leak from all the rain. And like I say, they got soaked. So what I decided to do was remove the soil and take them inside. Some of them I head chopped because I was worried that maybe the soil was too wet and the rot had set in. So yeah, some of them I head chopped, some of them I leaf propped, some of them I just took out of the soil and let them dry. So yeah, I've got some results today to share with you. And this is one of them. And I'm excited to say we have a bloom and some roots. So yeah, I'm really happy with some of the results and I'll share them with you today. So I've just had a look back at the footage from last time and yeah, it's just under 2 months. So I'm really happy with the results actually. So what I did was kind of put all the head chops, all the stems or leaves on a tray like this, and then I had some just little, what are these called, just bottoms from propagation sets laying about. So yeah, I'll just use them, and they've been on my windowsill, so it's looked terrible in my house, but you know, it's worth it to get them to survive. So I don't have any deaths here at the moment. I think there's one more tray inside actually, which I might just go and grab before the end of the video. But yeah, I don't have any deaths. I do have obviously some leaves which haven't survived, but right, let's have a look and just see what's happened really, because it looks really positive. I have been keeping an eye on them. These have been in my so I've got a southeast facing window in my lounge and my spare bedroom, so I've had one tray or two trays downstairs and a couple upstairs as well. So yeah, southeast, and they've been getting lots of sun when it's sunny, and lots of kind of air. I've had the windows open and stuff, so yeah, it's dried them out really nicely. So we'll just go through and have a look at some of them to see what the results are, because these were actually soaked. And what that means is these have had really good water, so they're really nice and plump. This one I didn't take out of, I took out the soil, sorry, and didn't head chop. So the soil's all dried. Obviously there's hardly any soil really to it, and really not a lot of roots. So I'm hoping that will start re-rooting soon. But that one I would say is definitely a survivor, because it would have rotted by now, in my opinion. I did take some, oh no, I didn't take leaves off that one, I took leaves off this one. So this one is an iceberg. I love this one, and yeah, it's now started to root. So you can see quite a few roots growing there, which is amazing. So that one's a survivor, and I've got some leaf props from it as well. You can see the roots are just really, really long. So yeah, the roots on here are really long. We've got a nice little pup there, and the same with quite a few of these leaves actually. So there's a little pup. This one, can't see a pup yet, but it's got roots. Sometimes I just find on leaf props you get roots and they just die off. Sometimes you don't actually get a success. And then yeah, so these are the leaves I took off it. So hopefully I've got at least 3 pups there, maybe another couple coming, and this one's not done anything yet, but you never know, it still could. So yeah, really good success rate on that one. And I left the stem in the bottom tray just over there. I haven't really looked at the stems much, to be honest, but I don't think there's anything. These stems were so small, it's not like a size I'd usually try and propagate from, so I can't see anything on there. There's this little baby which I think fell off when I did the head chop, so that's just sitting in there at the minute. But yeah, nothing on there at this time, but you never know, I'm going to keep it for a bit longer. The growing season starts in probably a month's time, so I'll keep that and put it maybe in some soil and just see how it gets on. So same with this one. So this is my purple white form. Nothing on here at all, but this was an import which I had last year, so it didn't really have much of a stem. So it's, again, something I wouldn't have head chopped, but had to try and save it. And this one I'm really, really proud of. It's got a beautiful bloom, so this means spring is coming. Got 2 little blooms on the end there, really long, and so many beautiful fresh roots. So this is absolutely amazing. I was really worried about this one. It's one I've wanted for a long time. Finally got it last year, I think it was last May, so it rooted and then yeah, it got soaked. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. It's just such a beauty of a plant. I love it. And normally I find that if I've got something in bloom, it can't bloom and grow roots at the same time. So this one's done amazing. Normally, if I want something to root, I'll chop the bloom just to make sure the energy is concentrating on the roots. But yeah, this has kind of gone against the rules that I usually follow and done a bit of both. And as you can see, it's pretty long. Well, the size of my hand. So yeah, amazing. So that is a really good success. I haven't actually looked at the leaf props for this. So I took 3 leaves off. I found it really hard to remove the leaves. Well, I've got one here which is shriveled up. That's no good, so that can go. And then these are the 4 which have done something. So we've got some roots in that one. Oh, we've got some cute little pups. They are just so cute. I love it when they do that. It's amazing. And then this one root and some roots here with a tiny little pup starting. So I'm really, really pleased. Like, obviously I was absolutely gutted when I found all these succulents which were wet because they were on the top shelf, which means they were my favourites really. But yeah, it's actually been quite a good success story so far. Obviously I haven't checked them all, so we'll see. But this one again, I didn't head chop. It's just had all the soil removed and left to dry, and got some really, really long and healthy roots on that one. So that's good. This was one I was convinced was going to rot. So I head chopped. I think I had 3, maybe 4 heads to it. I'll have to check back on the past video. But it's, yeah, I've got some little pups forming on the stem here. We've got 3 there. Nothing on that one. I think that's, oh yeah, there's 3 little tiny ones there as well. So that's amazing. I really didn't think that one was going to survive. I was kind of just doing that one to prove a point. You know, these succulents have some kind of will of survival. They just want to survive and they don't want to die. So as much as possible, they do keep going. So these are the heads. And we've got kind of a really, it doesn't look a very good bottom on that. It's quite a lot of dried up dark leaves, which I find dark normally represents rotting, but maybe not. But yeah, when you actually remove these, there's a few more. So that looks like it's doing quite well. Obviously teeny tiny. I'll pop that in there. And this one, again, a bit of a dodgy leaf. Normally, if you have dark on the stem here, it shows that rot is in there. So it might still, you know, not make it and it might be rotting. But because there's some roots on there which are growing, it's quite a good sign. So that one I'll be interested just to leave and see what happens, just out of curiosity for me really, to just see if that ring does mean rot, because I always thought it did. Same with this one, it's quite dark, but we've got some roots and it looks quite good. And this one, so all 4 heads are actually doing something and survived so far. So, you know, they could rot yet, but positive thoughts. And then what else have we got? Wow. Okay, so this one I've always been like a massive fan of. I just think the leaf structure of it is so different. It's very compact, very chunky. The kind of markings on the leaves are really unusual. I love it. So I was like very upset when I thought this was going to be a goner. But yeah, it's kind of proved me wrong. I didn't head chop this one. This was one that I just took the soil off. And yeah, we've got some beautiful fresh roots. Okay, this one is a Van Keppel, which, funnily enough, I can never get it to plump up. It's always very thirsty, no matter how much I water it. Never plump, and then it accidentally gets water in the winter. And look at it, it's so happy. It's so plump and, yeah, chunky. But we've got no roots yet, so this one hasn't done anything. But, oh, hang on, is that a tiny pink? Could be. The smallest little pink root starting just there. So maybe, but yeah, it's not as obviously successful as the other ones, but it's not dead yet. So that's kind of my, you know, hope it survives. And then I did pull some leaves off. So let's check them. I've got some roots. No pups yet, but some roots. So I won't go through every single one of these because we'll be here all day. But yeah, it's just really good to see that this technique actually does work. I've got quite a lot of dead leaves in that section, so they can all go apart from that one. Nothing's really happening on that yet, but never know. Some more roots. My poor little Shakira, she's always been bit beaten. She had some fungus last year, so she's got scarring on it from the treatment and some beautiful roots. So again, she's trying to survive, and lots of leaves from this one because I was very paranoid about losing it. And we've got a little pup and some roots. They're just amazing, aren't they? Right, so that's that tray. Let's have a look at the other ones. So here are some of the other ones. This was one I was really concerned about. This is my Mexican giant, which I think is allergic to water, but it has actually done really well. It's got this really hard leaf here, which I looked at the other day. I don't know what this is, so if you do know, please let me know. But it was full of air. I kind of popped it, and you can see here it's all now hollow. So I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, it's kind of full of air and it's popped, and now I've got some roots underneath, so that's good. It's a good sign. Got some of my variegated ones, which have got roots. This is my Luella, beautiful. I've got my Olivia, which is starting to get some roots. Just a little one there. And this one was one of the stems. So we've got loads of little pups on there. That leaf is that meant to be in there? Nope, that's just a leaf prop. And yeah, they're there. Pups on the stem. Why is it so satisfying when you have a leaf prop? It's so cute, especially when they're double headers. They're just cutest little things. They're tiny. And then over in this tray we've just got some which dried off really. I didn't head chop them. This one's quite interesting. It's got a lot of roots all near the top and then some little pups there. So yeah, strange one. And what's this one? Oh, it's got a few roots in it as well. So yeah, I'm really pleased. So what I'm going to do is repot some of them now and just show you the process that I follow. When repotting anything small or with very small roots, I always just use a very small nursery pot. So these are 5.5 centimeters, teeny tiny, and they're just really good to kind of get the plant started and get the roots growing. So this is 50% compost and 50% horticultural grit. I find this is really good. I used to use a different kind of what's it called, different substrate, which was molar clay, and I'm just going to change away from it this year and try this and see how I get on really. So I always fill the pot a little bit at the bottom with the substrate. I'm going to go for this one, but obviously the roots aren't really pointing down. They're quite flat where it's been sitting in this pot, so I might just give them a little wiggle to get them pointing in the right direction. And this pot is just going to need completely filling, so fill that up, well, kind of to that level, and sit it on top, and then just try and pop some soil around the side just to cover those roots so they can start getting into the soil and growing a little bit further. And then once they've kind of grown and filled the pot really, and then give it a water. But it's not actually watering season quite yet where I am. It's February, so still got some frosts at the minute, but once of March, April, and we're out of the frost season, and give these beauties of water. But yeah, I would just leave that in that pot. Obviously the roots will continue to grow into the soil, and then it can gain some nutrients from that soil. So while I'm doing this, just to make sure I don't get any IDs mixed up, is I'm going to do the leaf props at the same time and just pop them in some soil in one of these little saucers. So this, like I said, is the white Purpusorum. I'm going to try and just bury the roots. I always say bury, I should say cover the roots. Yeah, just pop them in there with the pups out of the soil so they're getting lots of light. That one doesn't have a pup. I'm going to try and just cover the roots and yeah, just kind of sprinkle over the soil. Some of this soil is very dry, like woody kind of material, so I don't never overly like this compost, but we'll try, we'll see what happens. I couldn't even see the pup there, it's so small, so just cover that bit up. And then I'm going to give it a little water. So I've got some water in one of these. I'm just going to give it a little spray. and that will encourage some growth. I find that leaf props do love a little bit of water, and obviously like lots of light, so I'll just keep that on one of my shelves and just make sure I'm adding my ID back into the plant and also onto the leaf prop tray, just so I don't forget what the IDs are, because hopefully we'll have 4 successes from there. So I probably should have done this on a smaller ID card, because I don't know how that's going to fit. Oh, honestly. Let's find another one, shall we? Here we go. There we go. Can't even spell it right, but I know what I mean. So I'm just going to lay that on there, and that's potted up with that one. So that's how I'm going to repot the plants and the leaves. And just going to continue the process. So that's most of them repotted. As you can see, it's been really successful. I'm so happy I did this. Obviously, I'm really gutted that I had the leak in the greenhouse, but it happens. Rain just finds its way in. Every year I have a different place. I always try and fix it. I use weatherproof tape, silicone and different things, but water just finds its way in no matter what. So unfortunately it happened, but I've got some really good results, and actually I managed to multiply some of my plants. So really I'm winning. So yeah, every kind of downside of things with succulents you either learn from or have a success from. It's just really good, like, kind of learning experience, and I've definitely learned something from this. So yeah, just to recap, if this happens to yours, I would either hedge up the succulent depending on kind of the height of the stem and what you think you're able to achieve, leaf propagate it, or just remove it completely from the soil and let it dry out. I had mine on my windowsill. Like I say, it was southeast facing, so it got quite a lot of sunshine on days that the sun was out, which is sometimes rare. But yeah, then it worked. They all dried out quite quickly, and I haven't had any that rotted. So really, really good success. If I would have just left them in the greenhouse with the literally soaking wet soil, they would have all died. So I'm really happy I did this, and I'm really happy with the results. So thanks for watching up to this point. If you're new here, my name is Jo. I have been collecting succulents for about 5 years. I grow them from seed, I leaf prop, I do them from stem cuttings, all sorts. I absolutely love them. I'm obsessed. I have 2 greenhouses and I keep some indoors as well. So yeah, I've kind of got an addiction, and I try and do it in my spare time. I've got a little girl, so I don't have that much spare time at the minute, but that's why they're quite good. So in the summer and spring, obviously they're growing, I can leaf prop them, I can really reignite the hobby again and the love for it. But in the winter, I don't have to do too much of it. There's not as much light in the day, so I don't have to come out here. They just are dormant and kind of look after themselves. I have actually got a video on winter and what I do in winter, so if that's of interest, please have a look at that video. But yeah, I find it's a hobby that's really great, really rewarding, but it doesn't need all my time. Obviously you can put so much time into it, like leaf propagating. All of these could be really successful. Obviously you need a lot of space and a hell of a lot of time, but you can put minimal time into them as well. You don't have to water them all the time like flowers and things. So yeah, I just find it a really good hobby that I've been able to continue since having my little girl as well. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I really appreciate it, and it does so much for my channel. I'm obviously only small, and I just wanted to share any of my tips that I've learned with you so you can grow your own collection as well. So if you enjoyed it, like I say, please give it a like, and please subscribe. I really appreciate it. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.